Hey, Fae folk, welcome back. So, as I'm sure you are all very well aware at this point, there is a new doll brand that is technically hit the market, though it certainly has not hit store shelves yet, and that would be mirrormi by MGA. So, this is a doll line where each of the dolls is supposed to be connected to and sort of representing a different emotion, which I do think is a really cool and quite different concept. So, we're starting off good, but unfortunately, there is going to be a lot of back and forth in this video. A lot of good, a lot of not so good, just because there are two things that I kind of need to discuss separately. There are the dolls themselves, the aesthetics, what they come with, like my thoughts on those. And then there is the release, which was abysmal, to say the least. So we are going to keep those things quite separate. For this first portion of the video, I am going to be going through and just discussing the dolls purely on an aesthetic standpoint, like much more just in a vacuum. And then we're going to talk about the serious stuff towards the end of the video. So if you don't want to talk about that, you can just like stop watching at that point. Or if you want to skip to that part because you want the juicy bits, listen, I understand. You can skip to that part. But yeah, I feel like it's easier to have this discussion if I can kind of keep those two things separate. So if I can look at the dolls and then look at the drama sort of separately. Now, with this, in the image that you're seeing, the four characters like leftmost are the ones that have already become available for sale. The two on the end at the right of this picture have not become available for sale yet. So we are going to go ahead in no particular order and look at the four that were available for purchase first, and then we'll look at the two that have yet to become available for purchase last. So we're going to be starting off with Amora Valentina. So Amora does represent the emotion of love, and I think that is very clear right off the bat, both from her name and also her design and the stuff she comes with. Like, I think this was a very clearly executed emotion. Like I said, these are in no particular order. We're actually just going in order of like the photos that I say. But this is a sort of unfortunate but also fortunate person or doll to start on, because Amora does exemplify my personal biggest qualm with this line as a whole when it comes to the design, and that is something about the shape of their head and the size of their head and the sheer volume of hair they have it's a little bit much for me, and I think that's wild. Like, I never expected to be like, wow, that might be too much doll hair, because typically speaking, I do enjoy like a good voluminous hairdo, right? But it's something in combination with the face shape and the volume of hair, and most specifically, there are two dolls like this that are like bothering me the most. It's this half up, half down ponytail situation. I think just really makes it look like her head is drowning in an ocean of hair. Maybe I'm being a little bit dramatic. I don't mean to start off negative right off the bat. I just had to get that out of the way. So like that is my biggest gripe with these, is I feel like it just something about that looks a little bit strange. But there are a lot of other really, really good things about this doll. So believe me, I'm not just going to be mean to her the whole time. She does come with sunglasses, a little box of chocolate hearts, which I think is cute, and then a heart-shaped handbag. And to look at her outfit, the first thing, the quality. Are we joking? I'm actually going to go ahead and jump to this more zoomed in picture because you can see a little bit more of the quality of the clothing. And I just like feel so relieved to be seeing really lovely, beautiful pieces. I know a lot of people have made this comparison that like this feels very sort of like Rainbow High. I mean, even though all the characters are representative of emotions and not colors, a lot of them are sort of monochromatic, or there's like a very limited color palette. So it still sort of feels color based. And with the inset eyes, like something about the face shape is very much giving Mermaids and Rainbow High had a baby. The leg shape specifically looks very Rainbow High to me when we look at the legs. So I'm not the only person to say that, but the comparison continues with the quality of the clothing. Like, this feels, I think, closer to what Rainbow High was like when it first came out and when it was in its heyday, and like they were making just incredible quality clothing. So it's really, really lovely to get to see that again here, and just like get to see the quality with the different fabrics in her outfit and the ruffles and like the stitch detail, the lace, the just incredible, like the lacing detail on her like detached sleeves that she has, I'm just so impressed. And it even carries over to the necklace that she has on, where it looks like it's supposed to be like an open locket situation, but there's so much painted detail on it that I just think is really lovely. And it's really refreshing to get to see this from a new doll line, especially given how Rainbow High has not fulfilled this role for a couple of years now. I also know that there are rumors that the Rainbow High team has disbanded. I'm not surprised. Like I feel like we all saw the writing on the wall, right? That Rainbow High was dying. And I think there are enough similarities between Rainbow High and mirrormi to where having them both on the shelf honestly would be sort of detrimental to MGA. You know, it's one thing to have like LOL surprise and Rainbow High on the shelf because they look different enough to where they are going to, yeah, attract people who want to collect both, but they're also not necessarily in direct competition with each other. Like I know that they are both doll lines. I'm getting off on a big tangent, whatever. Like there is some direct competition there, but they're different enough to where they might appeal to different audiences, and so it sort of minimizes some of the direct competition, right? But I think that these mirrormi dolls look close enough to Rainbow High dolls, except they look way better than Rainbow High dolls because of the quality levels, that it would actively again be detrimental for Rainbow High to like really stick around as a competitor. So if those rumors turn out to be true and Rainbow High is over and we're sort of going to be seeing the last of their releases, doesn't surprise me. And it was probably their time. But anyway, to get back to mirrormi, sorry. I do like I can't tell if this is a dress or a shirt and skirt. I want to say it's a shirt and skirt, but I'm not like 100% on that. I do like that piece. I think that's really pretty. I like the concept of the detached sleeves, especially the fact that we have the actual ribbon like detailing. Oh my God, thank you. But I don't like the color of the detached sleeve. I think it just it looks a little bit odd. I don't know. I just think that it's sort of strange. To move on from the sleeve, though, I don't know why I got like fixated on that for a sec. Looking at the hair again, while, like I said, I have my complaints about the style and like all of that jazz, I do really, really enjoy the hair blend. It's very Neapolitan ice cream, and I think it's so pretty for her. Like it keeps in that pink and everything without it being overwhelming. I feel like the blonde and the brown having those more neutral, also more natural colors kind of mixed in is just so good for her with the super duper vibrant outfit. We do have like a slightly more zoomed in picture of her face that I'm going to look at in a second, specifically to look at the eye makeup, but the way that she's posed, you'll see in a sec, I feel like it's not a good like picture to look at the entirety of the face. But I do think that the faces are quite pretty. I think that like the face shape and the eyes and everything are really, really lovely. However, I will say, listen, again, I'm really trying to like not just be negative this video. Like I do want to give credit where credit is due, but immediately I'm like, they again gave the darkest skinned character bright blue eyes. And this was a problem that we saw very frequently with Rainbow High, where when they would make characters that had a deeper skin tone, it was super common for them to have very light blue or purple or green eyes as opposed to giving them brown eyes. Like it feels like a lot of doll companies are sort of allergic to letting a character have brown skin and also brown eyes, which is not a great look considering that brown eyes, regardless of skin tone, brown eyes are the most common eye color. And it is just a little bit weird that it's it's not even like just MGA brands, just to be clear, but just like across doll brands in general. This is for some more serious, for some less serious, but it is a problem that is noticeable if you are looking for it, where it's like, okay, well, if we let a character have a deeper skin tone, we have to give them a more Eurocentric feature in the eye color or something like that. And so that does just bother me. If we go ahead and look at like the full lineup for a second here, I do think that this is not a terrible like breadth of skin tones for a first release. We have, like I said, Amora here has the darkest skin tone, and then far left, Luna, I believe. I'm still learning the names, so I am super duper sorry. Akiko, the cat themed one, is Japanese. I don't know that we have any confirmation on like heritage or anything for the one with red hair or the blonde one. Those are both like very pale characters though. And then of course the one furthest to the right, right? Yes, I'm really bad at my rights and lefts. Sorry, this is very difficult for me. Has a fantasy skin tone, so that one's sort of hard to like quantify, but I will say that that one is also quite pale. So I just think that with this lineup, it would have been nice to like it's not the worst lineup ever. I'm not trying to say that, like it is good that we at least have some diversity here. We only have one character that has like what appears to be a natural curl to their hair though. I don't know. I'm not trying to critique them too hard. I understand that for a doll line, it would be really difficult to have six characters and to be able to represent every single person ever, right? Like I fully get that. Like I'm not trying to be too hard on them. I'm just saying that I feel like with this being the start, perhaps having bright blue eyes on the deepest skin tone character when that's like a known problem, I don't know. It just felt a little bit iffy to me. That's not to say that she isn't pretty with these eyes. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, they're sort of more green, but the point still stands. Like, it's not to say that there's anything wrong with her or that she looks ugly or anything like that whatsoever. I just felt like I needed to point out that that is a pitfall that like historically doll companies and very recently even MGA specifically with their doll brands has fallen into, and they seem to have done it again. So I'm assuming we're going to get more mirror me dolls at some point. Like I'm assuming that this is not going to be a one and done based off of how excited so many people in the community are. So I'm just hoping that as they go forward, we get to see some dolls that are allowed to again have both brown skin and also brown eyes. Anyway, though, stepping down off my soapbox at least momentarily, because I'm surely going to get back on it later in this video. This was the like closest up picture of the face, so you can kind of see what I mean with like the glasses in the way. It's not necessarily the best look, but we can see the eyes and the makeup really clearly, and I am obsessed with the makeup. It's so pretty, like that little hint of glitter. Y'all already know that if you slap glitter on something, I'm already 10 times more likely to like it. So I do really, really love the detailed like makeup screenings that we're getting like on these characters. I think that's really lovely. I promise we are going to be done with Amora at some point, but I have to talk legs and shoes. And I do say legs and shoes because as you can see, she has a leg gimmick. And I do want to say most, if not all of these dolls have some sort of leg gimmick. It is not always like Amora's here, like she has a somewhat transparent leg with little like shaker beads inside, which personally, listen, they're kind of fun to me. I don't know. It's kind of a vibe for me personally. But some of the dolls have more of just like a little bit of like a printed design or a little bit of an ombre. It's not always clear legs with something inside of them. Honestly, I do think that these are going to work out. I'm receiving them okay. That's not the only reason I think that they're going to work out though. This just feels a lot closer to Monster High and how some of their dolls will have designs on the legs, like the G3 Laguna with the ombre legs, or Spectra or Cupid. Like those dolls have these kind of unearthly skin designs and special designs for their legs. And those dolls do perfectly well, right? Like people enjoy those perfectly fine. On the flip side, a lot of Rainbow High's dolls that have had legs like this have not been as popular with collectors, but I think the defining thing, obviously there's always going to be some people who just don't like it design wise, and that's perfectly fine. You don't have to like anything. But I think the biggest difference is the articulation. The way that Rainbow High decided to do their legs and like their gimmick legs with slime or glitter or whatever like they put in it for whatever given line was to remove the knee articulation. Whereas with these dolls, even in the case of Amora here, where she has transparent legs with something inside them, very, very much like those Rainbow High dolls or like Novi Stars way back in the day, it's just from the knee down. So she still has the full articulation in the knee, right? Like you're not losing anything for the sake of the gimmick. So I think it ends up working a lot better because it feels like something that is just a part of the character, but you're not sacrificing functionality of the doll. So my prediction is that people are going to be much more accepting of the leg situation with these dolls than they were of Rainbow High. Like I said, I think the legs are really cool. To go ahead and actually talk about the shoes, though, I also think the shoes are really pretty. The pink straps, like going around her ankle and across and everything, I think those are nice. They sort of blend in with the effect that the clear legs have, and I kind of like that. And then we have the gold with the heart heel. This is nice. They're not like the craziest, most intricate doll shoes that I've ever seen, but they're also not the most simplistic either. You know, it feels like someone took the time to sit down and make these be a perfectly nice, cute pair of shoes. And that's all I want from my doll shoes. Like, I think that this is quite nice. And then the very last thing that I wanted to talk about using Amora as the example here is the box. I'm not going to talk about it for every doll because it is the same for every doll, just recolors, you know, and like different shapes and everything like that. So I feel like just talking about it once is fine. You all probably know I'm not really a packaging person. Like all of my dolls come out of box, so boxes matter absolutely the least to me. However, I do think that this has a nice presentation to it, and there is one element that I genuinely really enjoy that I wanted to highlight, and that is the fact that if you look at Amora's box here, behind the doll where she's packaged, there is this holographic pink, like plastic insert. That insert comes out and can be used as a doll stand. Like that can be how you display the doll and how you get her to stand up on your shelf. And I love, love, love that. I do think it would have been nice to just get a more standard stand just because it's more versatile and it's going to take up less space on the shelf. And like, I think in general, a more basic doll stand is technically speaking more useful, at least to my mind. But I really appreciate the fact that like this is more of a double use, right? You know, they're taking the packaging and they're using the packaging to be part of the stand. So it is a little bit less wasteful. And I do appreciate that aspect. And just the fact that there is a way for the doll to stand up with the things that she comes with, I think is absolutely fabulous. Like, again, I think you can make the argument that like a regular stand would have been nicer for collectors. But the fact that there's at least an alternative in here is really cool. And personally, like I'm just trying to think about like because I'm very fortunate that I have like a good chunk of space to put my dolls in, right? So I don't mind if it takes up a little more space on the display. I'm saying like a regular stand might be better just for like people who have less space, people who are working with a more like restrictive display area. Personally, though, I am like really excited for these these little inserts. I think these are going to be super duper cute, like just as a special way to display the dolls. So I don't know. I guess what I'm getting at is I can understand like some maybe mixed feelings about it, but at least there's some way to stand up the doll, right? Like at least it's not just hey, there's no stand at all. And I gotta give points for the creativity. That does finally bring us on to doll number two, though, and it's probably going to go a lot quicker from here on out because I have less to say on like a general level. So this is Luna Sky, and she is meant to represent the emotion of dreamy, which I do think some of these emotions are like less clearly emotions, but I can allow dreamy. I think, you know, kind of head in the clouds vibe. That makes sense to me. I there are elements that I like and elements that I'm not as big a fan of with her. This is the other doll that has the half up, half down, and I still think it something about it makes the head look a little bit strange. I am half and half on her accessories. The sleep mask and everything is like it's okay. Like I get it, dreamy. It's a little bit literal because I think dreamy as the emotion it doesn't necessarily relate to sleep, but maybe I'm just being like really dramatic about this. Her cloud purse though, oh my god. Oh my god. I love that little thing to a frankly unhealthy degree. Like it's just so pretty to me. I also am obsessed with her outfit, like the clothes specifically. We'll talk about the shoes in a second. But the clothes specifically, I think are just absolutely gorgeous. The fabrics that are used, the layers, the color scheme, like it is all so beautiful. And here's like a little zoomed in shot of part of her outfit, the detail on the like tied bow at her waistline to where there's actually little beads on there that are it looks like flower shaped. Are you joking? Are you joking me? Like that, it's just such a wonderful level of detail, and I'm so hyped to be seeing it. Plus, you can see in this image like the different layers to the skirt. It looks phenomenal. Unfortunately, I don't like the shoes at all. I don't understand the shoes at all. I think for a different character, they could be absolutely fabulous. Like they are cute. I am having to zoom in on them. Sorry, I didn't see like a picture that was like just a close up of the shoes. So sorry if the picture is like a little bit blurry. But yeah, I think that the shoes are perfectly cute. I just have no idea whatsoever it has to do or what it has to do with the rest of this doll. I feel like the colors don't match. The green is like, I still don't think it matches. It's not the worst though, but that like deep, like burgundy sort of purpley red, or I guess a reddy purple, depending on like which way you think it leans. But the color that they used for the flowers on the shoes, it just doesn't match the rest of her outfit whatsoever. And also just thematically, I think it's a little bit strange. Like we're going very sky. I mean, her name is literally Luna Sky. Her name is Moon Sky. So we're going very sky, very celestial, very like atmospheric. And I think that makes sense again for the dreamy emotion, like head in the clouds, like the moon on her notebook, the cloud bag, like that all makes sense. I just don't understand where the plants are coming in because that sort of feels like the opposite. I mean, like if you want to get really symbolic with it, it could be like head in the clouds, like her feet are rooted to the ground to keep her standing. But even so, you could have picked better colors for it. So it's just really frustrating because personally, for me, the shoes honestly kind of ruined the doll, which I know is ridiculous. Like I could just repaint the shoes or put her in different shoes, but like it's just disappointing because I think the outfit is phenomenal and the shoes just don't make any sense at all. Her little leg situation, hers is printed like all the way up to the thigh as well, but again, it's like printed, and she obviously still has the knee articulation. And hers is little like wisps of clouds, which I think is really genuinely super cute. Just God, the shoes are pissing me off so much. So to go ahead and move on to a more close up picture of her hair and her face. Again, the makeup looks really detailed, looks really pretty. Like it seems, I think it's asymmetrical and it's like little clouds and stuff. It's gorgeous. Actually, now I'm seeing that the patterns that were on her legs go up all the way, like it's on her chest and her arms. Is that supposed to represent vitiligo? Because if so, that is sick as hell. That's really cool. It's really cool either way, but I just, obviously I'd love if there's more representation. And then with the hair, I think the hair blend is very cute, even though again, the style is not working for me. The colors are fabulous, the main purple and then like this periwinkle blue and this little hint of green going throughout there. Really, really pretty. So overall, I like most of the doll. Just those shoes, like killing me. Then my favorite out of the four that have already released is Akiko Kiriyama. Listen, she's cat themed. Of course she was going to be my favorite. Are literally any of you surprised? I doubt it. She's not my favorite from the line though, and that might be a little bit surprising. So looking at her accessories really quick, it looks like she has a like plate or like trinket dish or something in the shape of a paw or like a food bowl. I don't know, like that one's kind of funny to me. She has a mug with a little kitty face in it, a stuffed purple cat, and then a cat themed bag because duh, everything is cat. And that one does have a little kitty bag charm that is also attached to it, which I think is really, really cute. She does have a less like fantastical vibe in terms of her hair coloration. It's just straight up brown, but I do think she's still really, really pretty. I, of course, love the outfit with these like big fat cat gloves. Like, shut up. I just think that's so cute. The top part of her outfit looks like it has this very, very washed out, very pale pink sort of like camo print to it, which I did not expect to like, but I actually think works really, really well. Like I'm super vibing with that. She's got some interesting fabrics going on for her outfit, specifically with the skirt. She's got like lace, but also fur. And I guess the fur, it's weird for me to call fur interesting in the context of a cat outfit, but I think just where it's placed is quite interesting and works so well at giving her skirt just extra poof and volume and cute factor for me personally. She has a plastic garter and she's got some pom-poms hanging from her skirt, which is also really cute and very fun. Her leg gimmick appears to just be an ombre situation, so very, very simplistic. And then she does have these shoes that have sort of a sculpted leg warmer going into the shoe, which, obviously, like a fabric leg warmer is always preferable, but they're giving us a lot. I'm just gonna breathe with it, right? Like it's gonna be okay. I will say I think it is absolutely criminal that we did not get a cat ear hair accessory. Like if you are going to commit to the cat bit to the extent that she is literally wearing gloves that make her hands unusable, that are these big fat kitten paw mittens, I need her to have cat ears too. Like I'm sorry, I think that that's it's just a little thing that's missing. I don't know. I think that would have been nice if we just got a cat ear headband. I still really like her, but I just think that that is a factor that would have been nice to get to see. She also has a more neutral makeup, I would say, compared to the others that we have looked at, but there is still a little bit of color and definitely a lot of dimension there. It's hard because like in this picture here, where she has like her mitts up, like she's like showing you her little kitty cat paws, her mouth looks just normal. Like it's just, okay, yeah, she's got lips and a little bit of teeth painted on. But in this picture here, that is less of a close up, it looks like she has a fang. And so I'm just like, I want to know what the situation is. Full disclosure, as of filming this portion of the video, I have not watched any of like the official like partnered content for Mirror Me. Just because that is sort of involved in a little bit of the drama that I wanted to discuss. And so I want to watch it before I film the voiceover portion to discuss that part, obviously, so that I am properly educated on the topic. But I didn't want to watch it before talking about my thoughts on the aesthetics of the dolls, just because I didn't want any more negativity in the back of my mind that might be like clouding my opinions, if that makes sense. I wanted to be able to try to film this portion of the video with as positive an attitude as possible. So I am sure that that's answered somewhere whether there is a fang on this girl or not. That's why I don't know yet. But I'm really hoping there's a fang because that's cute as hell. I love that. Love that for her. Not me realizing that I forgot to tell you all that Akiko is supposed to be representing the emotion of cozy, which again, I would argue towing the line of what is and is not an emotion. But she looks really cozy, so, well executed at least. But that does bring us to the last doll that people have been able to purchase thus far, and that is Blaze Max. I just have to say, it is crazy to me that I've literally been talking for 30 minutes and I haven't even managed to cover all of the dolls, let alone all of like the shit surrounding this release. This is going to be such a long video. I hope you guys have sat down with more than just a popcorn bucket, but actually a full meal. Anyway, Blaze is supposed to represent the quote unquote emotion of electric. I'm sorry, that's not an emotion. I'm so sorry. You can have an electric personality. Electric is not a feeling. I would argue that that is definitely not an emotion. And does that bother me? Yes. Yes, it does. But to go ahead and look at like the actual design for the doll, I do think that the hair was fine on Akiko. That's why I didn't talk about it. I think the pigtails look very cute with the head sculpt. The hair being all the way down like it is for Blaze, that bothers me less than the half of half down, but I still think something about it just feels crazy. It could be the case that getting these dolls in person, I would feel completely differently, right? Like that's always something that can happen, is you can feel very different seeing something in a photo versus like seeing it in real life. But in the picture, I'm just like that, like you're being overwhelmed by your hair. It is all a very, very bright, like fire engine red, which I kind of wish we got a little bit more dimension. It looks like there might be a couple of darker streaks running through, but I wish we got even more. For her accessories, she has got a bowl of ramen and some utensils to go along with it, which I do think is absolutely adorable. I don't know, like the older I get, the more I collect, the more I'm starting to get really into like well executed accessories, like really detailed little cutesy accessories, and a bowl of ramen with utensils. That counts. That absolutely counts. I think that's so stinking cute. She has some sunglasses, a guitar that the guitar needed more painted detail. I'm so sorry. I think this thing looks absolutely ridiculous. Like looking at her in this picture holding it, it's just like you can't even see the strings. That just oof, that one hurts. And then her last accessory is a boxing glove shaped handbag. I'm sure that for some people that is very camp and very fun, and I absolutely respect your opinion if you're one of those people, but for me it is just ugly. I'm so sorry. Unfortunately, I'm not really a fan of her outfit either. I want to be. I feel like on paper this doll should be right up my alley, but I actually think she's my least favorite of the entire lineup. So I do like her choker. The sweater is severely bothering me. I love the fact that it looks like a real knit. Like that's amazing. But what is killing me is the fact that on the front, like the panel across her chest, it looks like that is like red and black stripes, but then along her arms, it's red and like an army sort of green. Like even in this picture that's a little bit more zoomed in, I feel like it's even more obvious that they're definitely different colors. Like it's not just a lighting thing, they're definitely different colors, and I think it looks dumb. I'm so sorry. I really don't like that. And then her skirt, I think it's a nice piece in terms of quality. Like we have chains. Holy shit, we love to see that. But it is like this pleather bubble skirt, and I just don't like that. I just think it's ugly. I'm so sorry. I'm not really vibing with it. And then as far as I can tell, she doesn't have a leg gimmick. It looks like her shoes sort of function as the leg gimmick because she has these boots that the actual boot portion, like from, her sort of just above her ankle down, goes ombre black to red. And then there's also this piece that I can't tell if it's separate or not, but that goes up and it kind of ombres from the darker red into an orange. It's giving very lava, and that sort of clings all the way up her legs. And again, I don't dislike it in theory, but I don't think that it matches the rest of what's going on. I just think that stylistically, this doll is kind of all over the place. I have no idea what's going on. She definitely doesn't feel, I mean, like, I guess she feels a little electric. Mostly it feels like they wanted to make this doll like anger or something, and then they were afraid to do that. That's sort of the vibe that it gives me with like the punching bag and the fire. It just feels like they wanted to make her anger and then for some reason had to pull it. Perhaps because anger is viewed as a negative emotion, even though like you can definitely make the argument that there are no negative emotions. Just emotions are a thing that we experience, and the thing that can make anger a negative is the way that we choose to react to it. Like the reaction to anger can be bad, but I would argue that purporting that experiencing anger and being angry and like experiencing that emotion, I think that portraying that as a bad thing, I'm just assuming that's what happened. I'm on my soapbox again for literally no reason. But I don't think that's helpful because everyone is going to get angry at some point. And I think it's better for people to know how to handle their anger than to feel like they're doing something wrong by feeling angry. So anyway, yeah, this doll reads to me like she was supposed to be an actual emotion and then that got cut. And so they were like, electric. That's a feeling. I don't know. She's just out of all of them, the one that I would say is kind of a mess. With that being said, I'm still here to defend her facially because I've seen so many people hate on her face because she has like this really dark, like deep smoky eye situation, and then like a concealer lip, like very, very pale lips. And I think maybe we just need to learn how to appreciate a good concealer lip. I'm sorry. I think this is a really cute face. Do I think it matches the outfit? No, but I don't think the outfit even matches the outfit. Like, I think the outfit is already all over the place. Looking at the face in a vacuum, this is so, so pretty. And I would wear makeup like this and have worn makeup like this. So I'm here to defend her. Her face is not ugly. It's just wrong for the outfit. And the outfit is also, the outfit's the problem, basically. But that does bring us to the last two, the two that are my favorites, and also the two that have not become available for purchase yet. I will discuss the details of it a little bit more when we get into discussing the release and drama and everything. But the previous four characters that we've looked at were briefly available on MGA's website, and these next two, at least within the US, are going to be Target and Walmart exclusives. As of time of filming, I don't know what their release is supposed to look like for fans outside of the US. Sorry, I just don't have that information. And as of time of filming, I also don't know which one is going to be Walmart and which one is going to be Target. But all I'll say is, boo, we hate store exclusives here. I'm just really not a fan of that. But to go ahead and look at the dolls, I do only have one stock photo of each because there's just like less photos that were available for these, I guess. I don't really know the situation, but it is the situation. So this first one is Suki Gold Petal, and she is inspired by kintsugi, which, if you're unfamiliar, it's like a Japanese pottery practice where they will use like, I don't know if it's actually gold all the time or if it's sometimes just gold colored product that they're using, but they're repairing broken pottery with this beautiful gold colored stuff so that it's like, oh, it broke, but we can put it back together and fix it and make it beautiful and all that, which I think is a really lovely concept and is also extremely thematic for Miss Suki here because she is supposed to represent the emotion of fragile. And I do think, you can make an argument that like fragility isn't maybe like the first thing you think of when you think of an emotion, but as someone who feels fragile almost constantly, this is definitely an emotion. So to go ahead and take a look at her, she is just absolutely gorgeous. The colors, there's not many of them, but they're absolutely fabulous. The gold that is used throughout her design, I think, is absolutely incredible. You can see that she has that kintsugi pattern on her dress, and also it's like carried onto her body with the legs and everything. Now, she is the only one to have a fantasy skin tone, and I will confess that bothers me just like a teensy bit, but I think that like it works in my mind because I'll try to be quick with this because I say this quite frequently here. But for those of you who might not know, Shadow High ended up really bothering me with the Rainbow High Shadow High situation because they were just like, yeah, these characters are grayscale or fantasy and they live in the exact same world and we're just never going to tell you why this is. And I just hated that. With these, though, I feel like they're supposed to be less rooted in reality because they're literally emotions, right? And also, we are seeing, at least with other characters like Amora, with like the legs that are super crazy and how like the beads in them and everything. So while Suki is the only one who has like an actual fantasy skin tone, she's at least not the only one who has these sort of inhuman elements. And I'm just hoping that in the future we get more fantasy skin tones so that it like feels less out of place. I don't know. That's a very personal me complaint. But I do love the like what looks like slightly more simplistic makeup. Again, I don't have like the best picture here, but her lips are very pale and it looks like, she definitely has some blue eyeshadow going on, but it's not as extreme. She does have headphones and a bag here. Not sure if there's any other accessories. Once again, this is all I got. Because also, again, haven't seen like the videos and stuff. I don't mind the pink that is present on like the straps that go around her neck. And even the bag, I think the pink doesn't bother me because there's also gold on it. The pink shoes are pissing me off. I don't know what it is with mirrormi and like the shoes being the thing that I just can't. It's just killing a couple dolls for me. It's not fully killing her. I'm being a little dramatic, but it does bother me that they're just pink. Like I just think something about that. They look a little odd. Well, okay, hold on. There might be a tiny bit of gold on like the very bottom, like the sole of the shoe, but it's so little. I don't know. Something about the pink is it's kind of aggravating to me. I feel like when I get her, I might want to repaint that and like do a different color. But overall, I think that this doll is really gorgeous. And another thing I didn't touch on, I like the silhouette they gave her with this outfit because it is reminiscent of like a cup, so it ties even more into kintsugi. Gosh, she's so pretty. And lastly, but certainly not least, is Shy Meadows, who is my absolute favorite, the one that I am the most frothing at the mouth for. And she is supposed to represent the emotion of sheepish. Now, I will say they did go a literal with this one. Given that she literally has a sheep on her little suspender skirt, she has like the faux sheep wool, she has a sheep bag. I don't even care though. Like I literally don't even care. I mean, they went literal with Amora too, with like the love situation. Some of the others, like Akiko being cozy, it's like a little bit further removed, but I don't know. I don't think this being a very direct, like pretty much pun, does her any disservice. I love this doll. I need her like immediately. I need her post haste. I just think she's so sweet. I love the hair, the style, and the like texture and like the fiber and everything just looks so incredible. I just love her sweet little face with these beautiful rosy red lips. I really do like the fabrics that she's got going on. She is another one that just has a ombre for her little leg situation, going from white into a more human skin tone, which is quite interesting because I feel like most of the time you would think of it being sort of the opposite, where at the thigh it's like a human skin tone and it goes into white, but hey, I'll take a little something different here. And then it looks like she actually does have fabric leg warmers, which is nice to see. I wish we could have gotten that for Akiko as well, but I am glad that we at least got it for Shy here. And they even have little like pom-poms and strings on them. And her shoes are sculpted to be like, is it, I'm gonna forget again. They're sort of like, I think it's the tabby boots, but they look like hooves because she's sheepish. I'm sorry, I just love her to absolute like bits and bobs and pieces. I'm so excited for her. I hope that they release quite quickly. But to go ahead and look at the whole line once more to kind of finalize my purely aesthetic thoughts, I do really like these. I think it has probably become apparent across the past 40 minutes of you listening to me yap that I don't like these as much as everyone else does. Like, I feel like most people that I've heard talking about these, they love every single thing about almost all of them. Like, they have almost nothing bad at all to say. And I feel like I had some critiques. Granted, I know that I'm way pickier than like a lot of people. So it's fine. Like I'm not upset about it or anything. It's not that I'm like being judgmental. I just thought it was really funny that everyone else it feels like is making like glowing posts and videos and stuff about these. And then I'm like, well, I don't like this and I don't like that. Like y'all are used to this shit for me by now though. As a whole, I do really enjoy the proportions of these dolls. I love the articulation that we're getting. I do like the face sculpts, even though I think sometimes with some of the hair it looks a little bit wonky. Obviously the quality is like number one. I'm so excited to be getting this level of quality. These dolls, for the brief time period that they were available, I believe were $29.99 US. So they are a little bit more expensive than most other dolls that are on the shelf, but I think it's just one of those situations where, you can pay $20 to $25 and you might get like a poly-headed piece of crap with no articulation. So I'm not happy about having to pay $30, but also I would rather spend the extra 5 or 10 and get this level of design and this level of quality and detail because that's just where we're at, unfortunately. Like I will always be a complainer and I will always be a hater and I will always talk about how we should not be paying this much for dolls, point blank period. But also I understand like we have to live in reality and this is how much we do pay for dolls. And so in the reality that we're living in, like these are more detailed than a $70 Skeletor doll. So I can't really be too mad about them being 30 bucks, right? So yeah, in general, even though I had like my critiques for individual characters and individual design choices, as a whole, I think this is a really exciting thing to be coming out for like doll collectors and kids alike. I just think this is a really wonderful release, and I am so hopeful that subsequent launches go smoother. We'll get there. We're rapidly approaching, and that we end up getting to see this line like continue and go on and do like multiple different lines and just get to see more from them because I really think this is, from an aesthetic and design standpoint, an exceptional beginning to a new brand. Going left to right, Luna, I will get on a sale probably. Blaze, she's not coming home. Akiko is coming home as soon as I can. Amora, I can't decide. I think my thing with her is that I feel as though if we get more like themed lines from these dolls, I might like her better in a different line with a different outfit. Like I don't dislike her outfit, but I'm not feeling obsessed with it. You know what I'm saying? So she's one that I might wait for a sale for as well. Or if we get leaks for upcoming lines and like we know that there's going to be another one of her coming out that I think I'm going to like more, maybe I'll wait for like a different one. But I would like to have, I think, an Amora in my collection at some point. And then obviously Shai and Suki are coming home quite quickly, hopefully. So those are all of my aesthetic thoughts on Mirror Me. I'm going to take a brief break and go ahead and watch all the videos that I hadn't watched yet and educate myself fully on the situation so I make sure I know what I'm talking about. And then I'm going to be back to discuss the not so fun parts of what's been going on with them. So I'll see y'all in a second. Alrighty, it is in fact the next day for me. I know it's only been like a second for you guys, but for me it's the next day, and now I am here. I have consumed the content I needed to consume, and I am ready as I'll ever be to discuss the less than wonderful things that I feel went down surrounding the Mirror Me release. With this section of the video is going to be a lot more podcasty. I know, like the beginning, it was just different pictures of the dolls, so it's already kind of podcasty. But for this one, I could like utilize fair use and pop in some clips from the influencer event, and like I'm not going to. So sorry. So I'm just gonna have the picture of the dolls up on screen, and if you want to stare at them, I get it. They're really gorgeous, and if you want to do something else while you're listening, it's not like you need my permission anyway. Go for it. Anyway, though, there are two sections in this section, two things I need to discuss. The first of which is the influencer event that occurred prior to the official Mirror Me release, and then I do want to discuss the release itself. So let's just go ahead and get started with the influencer event. Right off the bat, when discussing this influencer event, the thing I want to start with is to say, please do not go and harass any of the influencers who were there. I will be elaborating on that later, like as we discuss what the problem with the event was, but I don't think that any of the people who attended were at fault. Like, I don't think it was on them what went down and like what the problem was. And so I just really want to say, please don't go and like leave them any hate or any rude messages or anything, because I do feel as though that's like, it's understandable as we go through the situation to be upset and angry about it, but I do think that that is a extreme misdirection of the anger. I don't think that any of them were at fault for what happened. So the only thing that like I actually am going to discuss about the event is the problematic aspect, and that is the gender demographic of who attended. It was a very, very small event. I believe 5 people total. That's what like I've been hearing. That's what I counted in like the videos and everything that I saw. I'm pretty sure that it is a 5-person event. Very, very teeny tiny, right? Like it's not as though this was a huge thing. That's all fine. However, there has been, God, this is so difficult to talk about. There has been, I believe it was a tweet or something that I first saw that brought this to my attention, floating around saying everyone at the event was a man. And I do just want to say, I am not someone who, in general, believes in investigating people's genders. I think that if someone doesn't outwardly say, this is my gender, this is what I am, this is what I'm comfortable with, I don't really feel as though we should be poking and prodding and like investigating. As a non binary person myself, I feel like your gender is sort of your business. And if you want to tell people, that is fabulous. And if you don't want to tell people, you should have that right. There is some question about the validity of the statement only men were invited to the Mirror Me event, because one of the influencers who attended, who I will not name because I don't want to give them any negative attention, especially just because they're sort of, I guess, a little bit more titular to the problem. One of the people in attendance, to my knowledge and from what I was able to find online, doesn't have a like explicit gender stated. Like it's not on their Instagram or their TikTok profiles. And I have seen videos and like interviews from this person where they talk about their gender in sort of a vague and something like that might be closer to being under the non-binary umbrella. However, from what I was able to find, and again, I didn't do like an insane deep dive on this, okay? I didn't watch every single person this video has, or every single video this person has ever made trying to find out their gender, because I think that's weird personally. Like I feel like if they wanted it to be super super obvious and like they wanted to make a definitive statement, they would put it in their bio, right? And so just I'm just saying this because unfortunately it is pertinent to what we're talking about. But I don't feel comfortable putting any label on them, even non-binary. Like I'm saying, it seems as though they tend to prefer a little bit of androgyny, hence why I'm using they them pronouns. And it seems like they might be under like the sort of non-binary, agender, like demigender. Like there's like a lot of different ways that you can be non-binary, right? Like it seems as though that has been a label that they have sort of used when they have used labels, but generally speaking, they don't use labels. So like I said, I don't want to dive any further into that, but I do think that it's important to say we don't know for sure that it was only men invited, because we don't know, or at least I don't know, I couldn't find this person's like 100% confirmed gender identity. So instead, what I will say is that it was mostly men who were invited to the mirrormi event. And what I am more comfortable saying is that no one who loud and proud says I am a woman was invited. The individual who like I've been talking about, who again seems to be a little bit more androgynous, does express their femininity, and I do not want to take that away from them. And if they come out and like it turns out that they are someone who is a woman, then I'm completely wrong, and I'm so unbelievably sorry. I just didn't see that when I was researching for this. So it seems to me as though no one who is like I am a woman was invited to this event. And this isn't about bioessentialism. This isn't about like the gender people are born with, like, versus what they experience. I'm just saying no one who says I'm a woman, no one who experiences gender, regardless of what gender they were born as, no one who experiences gender as a woman exclusively was invited to the mirrormi event. And I think that is unbelievably fucked up. I think, you know, women historically are just viciously underrepresented in most areas. And especially when you're looking at this doll line, which these are all girls, I think it's really fucked up to be like, hey, here's this beautiful line of 6 girl dolls. Let's make sure no women are here to celebrate this. I just think that there's something unbelievably weird and disgusting about that. And I think it is madly fucked up of MGA and mirrormi to have not invited a single woman to be involved in this event. There are tons. There are so many content creators who do doll content who are women, and you could have invited just one of them. And I think it is disgraceful that not a single woman got to be invited here. I think that's just absolutely foul. Frankly, I'm really trying to censor myself. I can't say the words with all the vitriol that I would like to say. So just leave it at that. I think that was absolutely abhorrent and disgusting to just be like, no, fuck women. We don't actually want any women here. We want to make them beautiful little dolls. We want to sell these little girly pop dolls because they're beautiful, but we don't actually want any women here. Fuck you for that. That's disgusting. But that is why I said very specifically not to go and leave any hate to these content creators, because I don't think that they were the ones who were like, oh yeah, let's make sure no women content creators are here. You know, like Zombie Corn posted his video. I do not believe in any realm that Zombie Corn got the invitation to the mirrormi event, and then they said, hey, by the way, since you're coming, we want you to pick who's coming along. And like he picked only men. Like, it's not their fault. The people who are in attendance, it in my mind, it's just completely not their fault that there were no women there, because it's not like they were the ones who invited people there, right? So I am sad to know that there has been some backlash to these creators, because I think this is something that is completely outside of their like realm of responsibility. It absolutely needs to be called out, hence why I'm talking about it. But I just think we need to make sure our anger is directed at the right place, because the people who fucked up and the people who did dirty were the people at MGA who decided who was going to be in attendance, not the people who were in attendance. You know, like it's not on them. So that's the situation with the influencer event pre-release. Now we can get to the release, which just is still bad. So, as I alluded to earlier, mirrormi's official launch did not include this entire lineup, but rather just four out of the six dolls. So, Akiko, Luna, Blaze, and Amora became available for purchase on the MGA website on July 1st at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Right off the bat, I know I already said this a little bit. I hate the fact that Shy and Suki are store exclusives. I just hate store exclusives in general, but especially with like a launch day of a brand new doll line. I just feel like if you're going to have store exclusives, the way that this should have gone down, I don't know. I know I said this earlier. I still don't know as of time of doing even this voiceover whether Shy is going to be at Walmart or Target or and whether Suki is going to be at Walmart or Target. I know one will be at each store, right? For the purposes of making this easy, I'm just going to pretend that Shy is going to be at Target and Suki is going to be at Walmart. Please know that I do not know that that is confirmed. I just need to be able to like use words in an easy way. So personally, I feel like if you are going to remove the option of these dolls are just available at all places, if you're going to do store exclusives, I think that the proper way to do that is to say, okay, so the four that are releasing everywhere are going to be at Target along with Shy, and then the four that are releasing everywhere are going to be at Walmart along with Suki, and they're all going to be available at the same time. Like these are all going to go up. They're going to be on MGA's website, the ones that aren't exclusive, and then Target's going to have all the ones that Target should have, and Walmart's going to have all the ones Walmart should have, and Amazon's going to have. Like, I think that's how a release should be done. Mind you, these are playline dolls. I think that is really unbelievably important to keep in mind as we have this discussion. This is not a collector drop. These are not collector dolls. These are playline dolls that are meant to be widely available. So already I think that that's like frustrating to be like, hey, yeah, we're going to release four of these exclusively on our website where you're going to have to buy at least two if you don't want to pay $10 in shipping. And then the other two, you're just going to have to wait. And there's no information about when they're supposed to be out. There's no, they're going to release on this day. Like, just the lack of transparency is so unbelievably annoying to me. However, the actual worst part, in my opinion, was how quickly these dolls sold out. A lot of us are no stranger to collector releases being absolutely abysmal and difficult to get. Collector is like always the line that people point to because most collector releases are absolutely terrible. Like most collector Monster High releases are like they sell out in under 10 minutes, or like you genuinely end up in the position where you're like, oh my god, this doll took 30 minutes to sell out. Like that was such an easy drop, that was such a good drop, and that's crazy. Like that's unbelievable that Mattel has managed to get us to that point. Like that's rough. Or even other brands too, you know, like I know that like some releases have been better, but like Bratz has also had releases like that where they just sell out so quickly and it's such a pain and it's such a horrible anxiety inducing experience for the consumer. And I need to be clear, I already think that that is absolutely unacceptable on a collector level. I think the fact that these companies have us begging to pay them is disgusting. Like it just makes me so angry because just to use collector as the example, because I'm, you know, more familiar with Monster High. Like the fact that like collectors expect to be anxious leading up to a release and they expect to not get it and they expect that bots are going to get it instead and they expect for this to be stressful and awful and terrible and to be sad is not okay. Like Mattel, Monster High, people want to give you money. Maybe make it easier for them. You want money, we want to give you money. Stop making it such an unbelievably disgusting, stressful, upsetting process. Like eat my ass. Sorry, I'm really heated about this. I don't know if you could tell. But that's a collector release, okay? And again, I still don't think that that's okay, but I do think that's in a sort of different category because typically speaking, with collector dolls, there are fewer of them made, right? Like a playline release, there are thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of these dolls made, whereas collector releases, it might be a lower number of thousands that are made, right? Like I'm still not trying to say that every collector is rare. As far as I know, they don't put out information really on like the number that are made for these dolls, so we don't actually know how rare the collectors are. They're definitely not like rare, right? Like there are plenty of them that have been made. I'm not trying to excuse that behavior, but it is, you know, just on a numbers level, a teeny infinitesimal amount more understandable that a collector release would go like that a collector release might sell out quickly and might be difficult to get. I went on to try to get one of the mirrormi dolls. I tried to get a Kiko because a Kiko was like the one that I was the most sure of out of the dolls that were going to be available on MGA's website. I was there at noon. 12:01 I hit purchase. Like I had completed the order, like looked over my address and made sure everything was okay. She was sold out. By 12:02, all of the other dolls were sold out. Off. You have got to be shitting me. The fact that a play line launch sold out in 2 fucking minutes is inexcusable. And frankly, like, I don't want to spread negative emotions in the sense that, like, I'm not trying to be here saying, oh my God, they sold out, FOMO, go get them from resellers online, like, go get them on eBay, go pay these crazy prices. Oh my God, like, that's not it at all. Wait, they're going to be available at some point. It might take ages, but they're going to be available widely at some point. Once again, they are, in fact, playline dolls. However, I don't think that people are angry enough about how this launch went down. Like, I don't understand why more people are not like literally rioting in the streets over the fact that a playline doll sold out in 2 minutes. Why was this not more readily available? Why did they not have better stock? Why was it exclusive to MGA's website? I know the answer is just this stupid scarcity marketing tactic that all these fucking doll companies are such a big fan of nowadays, but I don't think that's a good enough excuse. It's not. Like, these are playline dolls. These are not exclusive collector's edition dolls. These are not limited to 100 edition dolls. These are playline dolls. Off with your scarcity marketing. There's nothing scarce about them. They are going to be widely available, and you need to be treating them like that. And you need to have some modicum of respect for your consumer and let them pay you. MGA, just like I addressed Mattel, we wanted to give you our money. We wanted to pay you, and you're still treating your consumers like shit. And I fucking hate that. I think that is just absolutely foul. So sorry. Like I said, I know these dolls are going to be available. Okay. Like, I don't want to fearmonger. I don't want anyone to be like upset in that regard. We are going to be able to get these dolls. Hopefully, everyone who wants them is going to be able to get them at some point. Like, they're going to be at Walmart, at Target, Amazon. I know, like, since I started doing like the aesthetic voiceovers, we got information about them being at Smith's in the UK. Like, these are going to be available. People are going to be able to get them. I just think there's absolutely no fucking reason on this earth that we should have a playline launch sell out in 2 minutes and have it be so frustrating and so anxiety inducing and have so many people be upset over wide release dolls. And also the fact that mirrormi hasn't said all on their Instagram. Literally, like, they haven't said anything about, don't worry guys, they're coming back in stock this day, or like, it's okay. Like, not even a thank you. Also, oh my God, sorry. I almost said something. I almost, okay, we got to rein it in a little bit. We have to use our nice words. But the fact that mirrormi literally didn't even like put on their Instagrams, like, I think it would have been rude if they'd been like, oh my God, guys, thanks for selling out in 2 minutes, because like, no, perish. Like, I would like to be able to pay money to buy these dolls. I would like for them to not sell out in 2 minutes. But the fact that they literally didn't even say thank you or reassure their fan base whatsoever, it was just like, thanks for your money, bye, bitch. Like, it has left a really, really terrible taste in my mouth for this brand. I just went over like the aesthetics and everything, and like I said, I had less of a glowing review, I think, than most people when it comes to the aesthetics. I was a little bit more picky, but I still think that these are incredible dolls, and I still think the designers did an amazing job with the concept and with the characters and everything, and I'm still excited to see more. But just as a brand, how they're handling this, I think aesthetically, these dolls have a lot to offer. I think as a brand, every move they have made so far has been nothing short of absolutely up. And I think we should be a lot angrier about that. Like, I don't think that we should be okay with being treated like this for fucking playline dolls. So that's it. I think that's finally it. I think those are finally all of my opinions. I know that this was a really long one, and I know I got really mad and like really serious at the end there, but it just bothers me. And I just think that it's really, really messed up that we're just trying to enjoy these little plastic people and just try to have some happiness in our lives as the world is like constantly falling apart around us. And these companies are just like, actually, how about we make it harder at every step of the way? And they keep finding new ways to be terrible and evil. And I just can't stand it. So I have to be here to talk about it. So those are finally all of my thoughts on Mirror Me. Everything from the looks to the execution to the like surrounding release, everything that we could possibly talk about so far. So now I will hand it over to you. Please let me know all of your thoughts aesthetically and also with all like the shit surrounding this. Would love to know how you were feeling. If you were able to get a doll, congratulations. I hope you're really, really excited about that. If not, same. So I'll be right there waiting for them to become actually widely available with you. But that's going to be it for me for today, guys. I hope y'all got something out of this one. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day or night or whatever it might be, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.